All right, everybody, let's get started today. Again, my name is Aaron Armandaris. I'm happy that you're joining us today for our seamless pick, pack, and multi-carrier ship. We are excited to show you our agility shipping module that is now being released with WiSys WMS. And I want to throw it over to our CEO, Michael Hollinger. He's going to be conducting today's webinar. Michael, good afternoon and take it away.
Thanks, Aaron, and thanks everyone for joining today. I appreciate your attention. So as Aaron said, we're going to get into our new agility shipping module today. And so I've got a couple slides just to kind of give you a bit of overview, and then I'm going to get into the demo. And it's really not going to be a very long demo. Oftentimes when we do these webinars with a demo, we're doing more of a larger breadth of product demo, but we're really focusing in on agility, just agility shipping today. So I'm really going to just get into just that agility shipping module. So before I get started, I just want to give just a quick background. Some of you might have already seen some of this and know this about us. We've been doing this WMS thing since around 2004. So over 16 years now, and we have over 550 customers. And these customers scale anywhere from a couple handheld devices on the floor doing some simple WMS all the way to really complex enterprise level transactions with well over 100 handheld devices on the floor. So we can really scale to a pretty high level. Also, just want to quickly mention, I know this is important to a lot of customers, that we are certified in both SQL Server and HANA. We have any customers in both, including version 10. So we are recently certified in version 10 just this past year. So let's get into it. So I want to talk about the challenge, the obstacle, and the solution before we get started. So the challenge we see is, your customers are demanding packages be delivered quickly and accurately. It used to be called the Walmart effect. Now it's the Amazon effect. It's like, can I get my package in 2 hours, please? So it's getting to be the demand. Everybody wants it now. So there's a lot of pressure on you as the shipper. And the obstacle to that, though, is keeping your Business One system updated in real time as obviously you're shipping at breakneck speed. It's hard to keep things in sync. So the solution that we're bringing here is one integrated add-on that not only handles the WMS side of picking and packing, but we also seamlessly integrate the multi-carrier shipping directly into Business One. So there are shipping solutions out there, the multi-carrier shipping solutions, but they're typically disintegrated from the WMS solution. So you're going from WMS over to another product altogether, some other add-on, to then get that shipping part of it done. So we're bringing the integration all the way through. So the way we're doing that is our agility shipping sits on top of our agility framework, just like all of our other products. So we bring the flexibility to it. But that allows us to go from the pick list picking, all the way back to the picking process, integrating that into the UPS, FedEx, USPS, and then bringing it back into the delivery note creation with the tracking numbers, the weights and everything else, and running those cartons back into the delivery note on the packing slip. So where we've been going with, tablets on our mobile with, the new native Android stuff, whether you're doing it, we like to look at it and say, is this a mobile problem or a desktop problem? And every business process on the floor is going to be different and have different needs, different purposes. So, there are times, and I'm going to show you kind of an array of that, a bit of different ways we can handle that. But, sometimes it is a desktop solution that you need on a workstation out there, maybe at a packing station. Sometimes maybe it's a tablet on a picking cart, or maybe a mobile handheld device. And then there's different parts of that process of, am I just going to pick on the handheld? I'm going to fully pick and pack on the handheld and ship on the desktop, or is it all that going to happen on the mobile device or tablet? So we can handle all those different situations. And of course, when it comes to all of our products, including agility shipping, we can always use our design tools, whether it's Form Studio or Design Studio. And I'll just briefly touch on that at the end here to show how we can bring in flexibility to our shipping solutions. So for today's demo, I'm going to do three different things. I'm going to start off with a mobile pick and then a desktop pack and ship, which means we're going to use the handheld device to pick a pick list, and then we're going to stage the inventory where we can then pack and ship it on the desktop. So staging is somewhat of an important piece. So after you pick it, we're going to actually physically move that from the bins, physically move those over to the centralized workstation where we're going to pack it. So it's important that we're moving it from that bin and getting into that centralized staging bin. Because if you think of a package or a carton, it's a physical thing, and we're going to be building cartons in a bin because these are binned items. So we're going to build a new physical package in that bin, so we can make sure that all the items are in that same bin as well. And then the second demo we're going to do is a mobile pack desktop ship. So we're going to pack an order with a mobile device, and then we'll ship it on the desktop. And then lastly, we'll do a mobile pick, pack, and ship. And this is where we're going to see some really awesome velocity where we can directly pick, pack, and ship it all on the mobile device. All righty, let's get into it. Okay, so I'm going to start off with a sales order here, 1175. And so I'm working with small data sets here because we don't have all day to pick, you know, hundreds of lines on a pick list, but you'll get the point of it here as we go through it. But this sales order here has pick list number 317. Okay, so we got order 1175 on this pick list. So I'm going to come over here to okay, a couple things. Okay, so this Agility Mobile here. So we're going to come over here to directed sales order picking on the handheld. So those of you who don't know, this is my emulator. I'm emulating what would the user obviously be using out on the warehouse floor. And you can type, look up, or scan a picking number. So I'm going to scan my pick list number here, and it's directing me to go and pick in bin sequence. So A0002 was the second line on here, but the bin that it's in, it's telling me to go to comes first. So it's going to tell me to go to that item first. Okay, so I'm going to scan my item and the bin to validate it. Type in a 1, hit enter, and now we just picked it. We'll go to my second item, bin, validate it, and we'll go ahead and pick that one. So now if we go and look at business 1, just see where we're at here as we go, refresh it, and we get to have now picked these 2 items on that pick list. Okay, so it's been fully picked. So now all I got to do is click stage, and that just took all the items that have been picked, the picked quantities, and it just transferred them over to the centralized staging bin for packing and shipping. So to fulfill that process, we'll go over here to Fulfillment Manager. So Fulfillment Manager is our packing and shipping process on the desktop. So I'm going to choose New Shipment. I'm going to add a new carton and a new item. And I'm going to put in my order and my first item here. And you'll see here the bin is defaulting here to 05-S. So we have a setting for that that defines where the centralized bin is going to be the staging bin. Okay. Then I'm going to add a second carton and add an item this again, and the same order for the second item. Okay, so now we have 2 cartons on this shipment. And you'll notice that I've got UPS as the only one highlighted here because that is based on the shipping type that is on the actual order, and we have a mapping for that here. So after I do the shipment, I'll show you some of the settings that we've got set up behind the scenes. So I'm going to choose UPS, and it's going to pop up my weight screen. Okay, so in this case, it's already pulled in all my weights out of business 1. If you don't have the weight set up, you can see it says F5 get weight. So I would just on here hit F5 if I have my scale attached, which I don't currently have a scale, and I can go to each line and just hit F5 to get the actual weight, put the carton on the scale and hit F5 to get that weight. I can also change the service last minute if I need to. Customer calls in and says, you know what, I need it next day, you know, whatever it is, you know, so if we need to change it last minute, we can. We can't change the billing because that is really set up, you know, that's really kind of the decision between you and the customer, and we don't want people on the floor to change that. All right, so when we have it where we want it, we just simply click ship, and it's going to do the delivery note and go ahead and get the tracking number and write it back to the, so there's my 2 label there, two labels for the 2 cartons. And now typically I wouldn't print to the screen. I'm doing that just for the demo. But typically it would have gone right to your label printer and you see it clear the screen out. So if we come back here and look at our order and refresh it, we can see it's been delivered. We get a target document, and we can look at our packing slip, and we can see our 2 cartons have been created and identified in B1. And we also put the sequential number from our system back into here so we can also have a reference back to it. Okay, so I just want to show you a couple settings on what just happened there. So if we go into our options, packing and shipping, the first thing you want to do is go into our shipping carrier settings, and this is where we actually turn it on, and then we can come in here and set up our account numbers that we need. These are all test numbers for us, so it doesn't really do any good to use them if you want them, but you also need the password. So, but when you're ready to go live, you would just simply choose live and then put your live account in there. So this allows us to do some testing until we're ready to actually go live. And then the shipping type mapping, the reason that UPS turned on the fulfillment manager is because these are shipping types, and I chose UPS ground was on that, my shipping type in that order. I mapped that to ground for UPS, and I chose prepaid. I could do freight collect, company billed, third party, no freight, or freight pay code, which allows us to define it based on the order. So we could choose whether it's prepaid, collect, or third party on each individual order. What prepaid means is essentially, FedEx calls it sender, UPS calls it prepaid. It just means that you as the customer, or you as the shipper are going to pay for it using your account number. So it'll charge your account number, and then we know that based on that, we're going to write it back as freight on the actual order, actually on the delivery note. And then we have shipping address accounts, so we can come in here and look at all of our customers by carrier and set up different account numbers based on their multiple addresses for collect. We can go to third-party accounts and predefine the third-party accounts, which for third-party you need a full address as well as an account number. So we can have different third-party accounts per address. We can drop ship addresses. So if you do drop shipping, you can put in drop ship addresses in here. I'm not sure what happened to drop ship. It might be on my other monitor. And then commodity codes. So if you're doing international, we do international shipping as well. So we do some predefined commodity code mapping, either by item code or by item group mapping. So we want you to find these commodity codes, and when you go to ship it, if you don't have a map, we'll ask you to map the commodity codes at ship time. If you have them pre-mapped, then we can go ahead and pull those in and then put them on your actual commercial invoice. Okay, so let's get on to the next part of the demo, which is I'm gonna go to my second order here, which is 1176. And for 1176, I'm gonna fully pack the, actually pick and pack. Well, I'm not doing picking, I'm not gonna do pickless on this one. I'm just gonna show you how we can take it to a simple order, just pack the order, and then go over to Fulfillment Manager and just ship what we just packed on the handheld. All right, so on the handheld, we're gonna go to pack cartons on this one. And to start, I'm gonna choose new shipment, and I'm gonna scan my order, and I'll start scanning my item and bin, put in one. Okay, now I've got a shipment number assigned, and I've got a new carton that I'm working on. I could choose a new carton, so I could say I'm going to put the second item in a second carton, but I'm doing a USPS shipment here, so I'm going to keep it all in one carton. So I'll take my second item and the bin, put one of those in the same carton. So I think now I can take my shipment 723, go over here to Fulfillment Manager, 723, and we can see I've got a carton with these two items on it. And now you see USPS has been lit up because that's what the shipping type is on the order. So I'll just click on USPS, same screen, different colors. We know it's USPS now, it's pretty obvious. All the same way, I can F5 get weight, we can change the service type, and I'm just gonna click on ship, and we'll get our shipping label, same as before. All right.
So Michael, in the first case, you did a staging operation where you just went and got stuff. In this example, you went and got everything and you packaged it all at the same time. So it's just a different way to do the same thing, but you're doing it all at once as one person. Is that a good way to say it?
Yeah, and what I'm really trying to show here is that everybody's got different processes of how they pick, pack, and ship. So I'm showing you different ways, and these are just some simple ways that we're doing out of the box. We can obviously solve a lot of complex shipping logistics issues with our design tools, because we can take the shipping process of the UPS, FedEx, USPS integration, and we tie those back into all of our processes, our B1 processes through our framework. So we can mix and match and change around the workflow how we want to do this.
Thanks, Mike. That's good.
Okay. So the last part of the demo that I want to show here is I'm going to go to a pick list I've got here. So this pick list 318 has two orders on 1177 and 1178. Now this is a bit of a unique situation. This is really defined for a situation where you have maybe a bunch of one line, a bunch of orders with one line item on it. And so it doesn't take a whole lot of thinking. As I'm picking and packing it, I know I'm going to be just putting that one line item in a box or a bag or whatever it's going to be, and I just want to go ahead and print a label. So you can imagine maybe a picking cart with a label printer on there, maybe using a mobile handheld device, or it could be a tablet on the picking cart. And when I scan the item on that pick list, it's going to automatically just print the label and do the shipment right there and then. So in this case, 1177 is set to go UPS, and 1178 is set to go FedEx. So you can have all kinds of different parcel services within this one pick list. So I'm going to go to single line directed ship. I'm going to scan my pick list, and again, it's going to direct me by a bin. So I'll scan my item and bin to validate, type in my quantity, hit enter. So it's going to pick it, it's going to mark it picked, it's going to go ahead and just pack it up and go ahead and print my label. Okay, so when I'll turn it to my label printer, and I'm going to go to the next one, the next one, the next one, and it's going to keep packing and shipping as I go. And then we got the, so the last one was FedEx, this one is now UPS. And then you go to your fully picked. So that's a pretty fast process. So now that we've gone through the three different ways of doing it, I just want to take a moment and show a little bit about how, for those of you who haven't seen our design tools, how we can also take these processes and kind of take them to the next level. So this is Form Studio. So this is like the single line directed ship process I just showed you. It could be any form that we have on the handheld. It could be the packed cartons. It could be the directed picking process. But you can see here we can add fields to the form. We can move those fields anywhere we want, depending on the flow. So we can change the whole workflow of how these forms actually operate. And then if I go to my save button, which was, if you look at the button, it's doing a pick, a shipment create, packing a single order in a single package, and then ships it and then prints the label. That's pretty much all it's doing. But if along the way here, when I use a defined field, maybe I want to add another object transaction where I want to maybe update a document, you know, or maybe I want to update some other object in B1. Or you could also do, like, if you have your own tables, your own user-defined tables, you could do a SQL script and then update maybe a table and then link it back to maybe the delivery note or the original sales order. So there's a lot you can do here as far as customizing the forms. And then I wanted to go over here briefly into Design Studio, and I thought it'd be kind of fun to add maybe a new button. So if I go back here and look at Fulfillment Manager, this is my ribbon bar at the top, but maybe I want to add another button up here because I want to maybe look at some extra data. So what I'm going to do is go to my new, I'm going to do a new component. I'm going to create a new grid, and we'll just maybe call it like pick list view or something like that. I'm just kind of making up, well, there's everyone out there, so we'll do a demo. And I'm not going to waste your time going through building out SQL statements. I prepared it, just a really simple thing, because it's not about the data, it's really about how we can modify these grids and add more buttons to it. So I've got my SQL statement. And maybe I want to add an alert to this where I want to know when the release quantity is still greater than 0. So I want to know when we still have more to pick. And I'm going to put that alert on the actual release quantity field. Okay. And then I'm going to go to the actual grid that underlines fulfillment management. And I'm going to go to my buttons. So if you look at fulfillment manager, we got pack with some buttons, and we got ship with some buttons. So that's what these are here, is my pack group and my ship group. And I'm going to add another group, and we'll just call it custom, and we'll add a button to it. Call it pick view. It's going to be an agility component, and I'm just going to pick an image. It doesn't really matter what it is for now for the demo. And I'm going to go get my component name that I just created. Pick list view demo. Now I could link some columns to it. So if I wanted to put some filters on that grid, or I want to maybe whatever order I'm currently working on, I could pass the order number to one of these grids. So if I wanted to put some other views in here to look at that order, you could do it as well. So I'll click OK on that. And then I'm going to shut down the Fulfillment Manager and just restart it here so we can get this new button on here. And there's our new pick view. So whether I'm on a shipment or not, I just want to come in and look at the pick view and just I want to see, what's out here, what has not been picked yet. So you can see with the alerts, I can get a quick view and look and see what's still coming down the pike. So just to quickly show you how we can modify all the agility shipping just like we can with all the other rest of our products. So that's really all I wanted to show today. Like I said, it's going to be pretty fast. I just want to give you a taste of where we can go with agility shipping, what its capabilities are, and some out of the box, and where we can take it with our design tools.
Michael, there's a question about labeling, label designing and printing. Could you take a minute to just, I don't know, open up the Agility Label Designer and talk about that for a minute?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to do labels, we do have, so with shipping, it's a little bit different than our label studio. We can do labels with our label studio. Let me just open up maybe a label here, like just a standard pure receiving label I've got out here. So for with our label studio, we can define a data set, and then you can drop in text fields, barcodes, images. If you want to print RFID, you can. You need to have special RFID readers for those, obviously. But once you define your data set, then you just come over here and set your data fields that are defined off of your where is it? So you go to data field drop down. These are all the fields then that are defined on my data set. So I just map the fields to my barcode properties or my text fields. And then we use our document management then to print these labels from whatever process you want. So this is, for instance, this is a good receipt PO label. But
so the question was specifically, if I need to put a label on the outside of the box that I'm sending, would this be a way to do that besides the UPS label?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if you want to do a carton, like a carton contents, or if you had like a UCC 128 type of situation, we could do that as well. So you can create a UCC 128 label. I don't know if I have one in here or not. I might have one as example. I messed that one up. I don't have one I can show. But if you have a UCC 128 label or like a carton contents label, like there's something, maybe you want to do like a packing slip, it's more like a label, you can do that. We also do crystal reports. So if you want to do a full on packing slip, you can also print that as well and then put that like in the box, however you want to do that.
Good, okay.
Right.
Richard's got a question. He says, is there a batch shipping functionality? If you have several orders already prepped, maybe they're imported from some other system, can you select a range and have the system generate all the tracking numbers and push them back into the orders and print the shipping labels?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that would be a good use of a process grid. So we just create a process grid and then define whatever filter you want to bring in certain orders and check off all the ones you want. And then you would just define the button click to loop through all those orders and just pack them up. You can pack them either. So there, we have two new objects we created for agility shipping. One is, what is it? Pack single. Let me just pull up here. Like this one here is doing pack single order on a single package, or you could do a pack single order on multiple package. So you would just call that to have it go through and just automatically pack out those orders and then turn it around, just ship it. And then whatever the shipping type is on each one of those orders, just like I did in the single line directed ship, whatever the shipping type is on each one of those orders, it'll go that way. So you could have a bunch, some orders may go UPS, others might go FedEx, and then it'll just start spitting out labels to the label printer as it goes loops through all those.
So I think Richard's question relates to, I don't need to use a scan gun. I just want a list of orders to work on.
Sure.
And have it just do everything.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Sometimes it's not a mobile problem. Sometimes it's a desktop problem. You know, we've even had people who maybe you want to do what you just asked for, Richard, where you want to have a grid where you go through and just ship everything, pre-print all the labels, and then that tracking number will get written to the package records too. So you could essentially then go out and then scan that UPS or FedEx number, the tracking number, and validate the packages as you grab them off the bin. We can link them back to the actual items as well. So you could use partly the tracking number to go out and validate what you're actually picking. So you kind of almost reverse it in a way.
You know, we're really wanting to show you how the integration of shipping into WiSys will you know, become a seamless operation for you. And I appreciate Michael showing us today
a few different ways that we can ship, and then showing you the design tools, the ability to tailor those applications for you to change it to the way that you do things. So there is the ability to do that. So I want to thank Michael today for presenting. And if you have any questions or would like a little more further in-depth demonstration or conversation about agility shipping, I'd be happy to review that with you. Thank you guys. We appreciate your time today. Michael, thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks everyone for your attention. Appreciate it.
All right, thanks guys.